Anyway, I'm just going to finish. I do not want to do track construction. We've been through it a couple times. Fulfillment of demand and production. I feel like we are learning, even if the game doesn't want us to complete our learning.
Greetings! This lesson is about how you can recognize the needs of a city and use them to your advantage. I'll also show you how to invest in the production of goods to ensure additional transport and growing cities, which in turn leads to even more transport.
Cool. Even more
Open
transport.
the city dialogue of Sacramento and then the supply and demand list. This list shows you, among other things, how high the stock of all goods is and how high the current demand by citizens and factories is.
So this column is the stock in the city, current delivery by train, demand per week. Right, so there's 2.4 demand of cattle, livestock, yes. And it's currently getting 2 per week, which you would think is not 100%, but apparently it is. Maybe it's just growing. But there's stock in the city. That's one. So presumably that stock would be depleted at some point. Anyway.
As an example, look at grain. The city needs grain, yet the supply is at 0. This is because the nearest grain farm is too far away and is virtually unsupplied by traditional transportation. The same is true for lumber. So with the help of new rail lines, we could improve the goods coverage of the city.
We could indeed.
For corn, however, there is some supply. Here, a corn farm is nearby and goods are transported via road. A new rail line would generate revenue, but would not improve the city's fulfillment of demand until the city has grown too large for traditional transportation. Now, close the list again and look for suitable businesses to improve the city's fulfillment of demand so that the city can grow. To the north of Sacramento, there is lumber, and in the northeast, there is grain available.
I agree.
Now build a station at both farms and connect them to Sacramento, preferably with double tracks and a gridiron.
Preferably. Are you gonna mark me down if I don't? Okay, so this is a trying to, use what you've learned type of situation. So we're gonna build our train station for the lumberyard. Is it a lumberyard? What do you count this? For the lumber resource. Doesn't matter if it's a yard or not. We're going to build a track. And it's connecting into the back end here. Should we... Well, let's just use the two on this end because it's going up. And... Right. This may not be the best route, but a 1% incline and maximum speed I think is fine. And to build the double track on that, we will just click at one end and back into the station. Click build. And we need a gridiron at both ends. Okay, do they want us to put the trains on now? No, it's just saying the stations. It maybe won't let us. No, it will. Oh, we didn't. If we want to do the special thing. Yes, that's very vague. The special thing. Are you sure we want to exit? Yes, I'm sure. We need to set track directions. So within our track construction, track direction, just set those alternating. And then if we create the new line, click on that, followed by that line, Sacramento, and then the other line. The locomotive, this is all going to be freight, so we'll just tell it to load freight. Actually, it's not clear. I can't. Can I move that window? Okay. Luckily, I can click through that box. This is just lumber at the moment. It's not clear if that could turn into a city. I suppose there's a city up here. It probably won't turn into a city. But that will be our line, which then will take us through towards Reading. Fine. And then we do the exact same thing. First, we need to build a station in, well, near here. I suppose you could build it if you were thinking about it, so that you could come through here, or so that you could go through to get that livestock. But you probably don't need livestock in Sacramento from there, so that's probably going to be more of a direct route into Carson City or Winnemucca. And I apologize for how I pronounce any names incorrectly. That's fine. So we'll just build the station like that, because it's just a tutorial anyway. Although that is a hideous... What has happened there? Well, I've built it now, but it's going to be like immediately with a tunnel. I mean, some stations are like that. It's complaining. Wow, that is very expensive. $500,000 on a tunnel, $260,000 on a bridge. Should we try and make that a bit more efficient? Maybe. Means it'll have to come out like here or something. I mean, it's relatively steep, isn't it? It won't even like that bit, right? The tunnel's now more expensive. It says -4. I'm not clear which way, if that is... I started it at this end, so I assume it's coming downhill from... This is higher up, especially because that's, you know, got mountains there. Yeah, that's just... What a horrible trap. I suppose that corner's too tight as well. And very steep. You're like all the way up there. And what is the orange block that it's telling me about? Anyway, it's just tutorial, so I don't care.
Don't forget to also set track directions and build supply towers. Then set up one rail line for each good so that they can be delivered to Sacramento. We will continue once the first goods arrive in Sacramento.
Okay, so we've built the track. What we need to do then is set the track direction on those. And then it wants... Oh no. They're both going the same way. We need them going different ways. Good thing I caught that. We need a gridiron on this end of the station. So that allows the trains to swap over. And then the same at this end. Although that's in a tunnel. Is it going to let it do it in a tunnel? Oh, game. Why didn't you tell me about this? That is really silly. Okay, at least this is teaching me. Tutorial should teach you. Maybe this was not the way it was intending to teach me, but it has taught me that if I ever place a station, that I should not place it in this way, in such that every train that will ever go to the station has to go through a tunnel. Anyway, so we've placed those things. I haven't placed any, like, supply things down. Maybe it doesn't need them. But then we can place a line. Making sure it chooses the right track. And this is just going to be freight as well. Sure. Oh no, it even says track directions, which we've done. Supply towers, which we haven't. So let's go and build a couple of supply towers. Just one there and one there. Setup. Is it paused? Right, that's annoying. We will continue once the first goods arrive in Sacramento. How long do I have to wait? So there is a train on that route, that's good. And there's a train on this route, full of lumber, and that's this one over here, full of grain. See, we did learn, and we did do it correctly if you ignore whatever the hideous thing this is. With that tunnel straight into the station. If you ignore all of those things.
Excellent.
Excellent,
Select
see?
Sacramento again and watch how the city's fulfillment of demand improves. Since grain and lumber are in fairly high demand by the city, these two commodities also have a higher impact on demand coverage. Observe how the new supplies increase the goods coverage. If it's above 60%, a city grows. If it falls below 40%, it shrinks. Let's wait until the city reaches 40,000 citizens. You can look around a bit in the meantime.
Okay. So it's... I'm not sure I fully understand these numbers. There's 7.3 stock in the city. It's saying there's nothing that's going to be delivered. The demand per week is 0.8, and the fulfillment of demand in the last week's... I suppose this is probably a moving average, so it's just... It was at 0, and then over the past weeks it's, 100% in the last week, or the last couple of days, but that isn't... That's only just slowly going up because of that. And yeah, and the current delivery is 7, so... Although I said that before. Anyway, we're just waiting. How long is it going to take? I mean, considering it's been like 23 days, the population has gone up by several hundred people, is quite impressive. Come on, tutorial. It doesn't have a faster game speed than 3 at the moment. I assume in the real game it will go up slightly faster. It's like you can look around a bit in the meantime, but for what purpose?
Excellent. Sacramento has reached a new level. When
Cool.
a city grows, this has many effects. The need for goods increases, more types of goods are demanded, more industries can be constructed, and special buildings become available. Another industry can now be constructed in Sacramento. Beer would be good because grain is needed as raw material for it. Besides, San Francisco also needs beer, and there already exists a rail line. So open the construction menu and select the breweries.
Grain is the raw material that you make into beer. Apparently. This rural station can be constructed. Which rural station are you talking about? Right, factories. And
Now place the new industry in Sacramento inside the inner city area. Make sure that the new building complex doesn't get in the way of your future construction projects. For example, you can't lay tracks through factory complexes.
so if the station's going this way, I think it's pretty safe to say that this bit is never going to have a bit of track going through it.
Very good.
Very
Now leave
good.
the construction menu again and select the new industry.
Okay, leave the menu and click it.
Here you will see some info about your new industry. The rotating gear shows that the production is running. But if raw
It does.
materials are missing or the export warehouse is overflowing, production stops. This decreases the utilization and consequently your profit. If the work stands still for a long time, you will also lose money.
So there's a chart here which shows you the last 10 weeks, which is helpful. I wonder if you click on... Okay, it doesn't let you do it because you're in a tutorial. But the export warehouse... Oh, if this is full, so if that gets to 14. So you can keep building it here, but if you're not exporting it to like San Francisco, then
This can be the same city or any other city that can be reached by rail. So you can assume that your rail line to San Francisco will be used to transport beer.
I can assume
One day
it.
the production of your industry is no longer adequate, you can enlarge it by increasing the level. This will also make your industry yield more profit, but you'll probably earn the most from transport of goods.
Probably. So does it tell you how to do that? Resize it. So yeah, you could make it bigger. But all it really does is it costs a really big chunk of money. It just doubles it. Yeah, each time it doubles it. But it costs more than double. Except in that one. It's just... Oh, that one isn't even... Going from level 3 to level 4 is not double, but it costs more than double. Or... Anyway. Fine.
Now select a rural business, because I'd like to show you that you can also buy this business.
Ooh. I do like buying businesses.
Any rural or city business as long as it is not owned by one of your competitors. This starts an auction in which all competitors can participate, and the highest bidder gets the business.
The starting bid for the farm is 500,000.
Very good. Now try to acquire this rural business.
Is this me?
Excellent. One last thing. Open the flow of goods display.
I'm not surprised anyone wanted to pay more than that much. Anyway, what does it want me to do? Open the flow of goods display. I suppose I should close it first.
The origin of travelers, mail, and goods is displayed here, as well as where they are transported to. This is very useful if you're looking for a specific farm, for example, or want to know which transport routes you could take over.
The origin of travelers displayed here. These lines, or like when I'm hovering over the city, it's showing, it's just pointing at all the other cities. As well as where they are transported to. I'm not quite sure what it's telling me. Like, sure, it's pointing to the other cities. Is that just because it's mail? Oh, right, we're now looking at passengers. I understand. So if we were to look at livestock, it would then show livestock is going from here to here. And if we look at grain, is it... Yeah, it's going from both places, or at least it should be. Why... I don't know why hovering here doesn't show it coming into Sacramento as well. Sure, hovering on Carson City, it's going there. Anyway, useful, I suppose, if you want to know where stuff is coming from. Got it.
Down here, you will see explanations about the flow of goods. Now select different goods and move your focus to rural businesses and cities to see different information and the flow of goods. When you're ready, you can then exit the...
I'm ready. And I still do not want to see that tutorial, which is bugged. But thank you for offering for the 7th time. Right, changing trains, tutorial number 6.
Hi! In this lesson, I want to explain how passengers, mail, and freight can change trains.
He wants to,
This
but
is
will he?
useful because it means you need fewer rail lines and you can easily distribute goods from central stations to all directions. Now select Sacramento, and there, passengers and mail. Here you can see the destinations passengers and mail have from Sacramento. Right now, that's just San Francisco, because it only mentions destinations that can be reached entirely by rail. However, this does not mean that these goods choose only direct connections.
Fair enough.
Indeed, passengers and mail may change trains in cities and at rural stations with hotels if there is no shorter way, and if the way by rail is at most twice as long as the direct way. Now, let's try this out.
I mean, if I make a really long
build
rail
a
route,
station in Reading and connect the city to your station at the clearing. Feel free to use new tracks there. Then create a new rail line that runs from the clearing to Reading. As soon as lumber arrives in Reading, we will continue.
So build a station in Reading, connect city to your station at the clearing, which that's the lumber place, fine. Feel free to use new tracks there. Then create a new rail that runs from the clearing to Reading. Let's get on it. So building construction, train station. And I suppose, well, it doesn't really matter too much, but you might as well have it aligned to the current track. Although we put it as far down as possible. And we then will build the line. This is a double line, is it? Yes. I suppose we could choose 2 brand new lines. Just stick them in the middle. Is that a good enough track? I mean, it's not exactly 2% incline. Again, tutorials, so don't care that much. I mean, this is the practice though. Build the line next to it, so there's 2. And we have to remember to put directions. Did I only build 1? I didn't click build. It's still there, luckily. You just need to click build. Great. Now we can select directions. They're going in opposite directions, and we'll put the gridiron down at this end and this end, so that trains can use both platforms. Excellent. We should also build a supply tower, because everybody likes supplies in a tower form. I don't know either. And we want to create a new line runs from the clearing to Reading. I mean, this is also for lumber, so we're going to make sure it runs on the track in such a way. And is this... It says a new line. I'm wondering if it's going to make us... well... make the clearing the center point, so that passengers will go from Reading to the clearing, and then from the clearing to Sacramento. I.e., should I not choose freight? Should I go for mixed? But it's terrible. Let's just go for freight. Load freight. Sure. I mean, it may make me change it. And I suppose the way to change it is you just would edit it and you'd click load everything. And even though it's not a train that's designed for passengers, it would still work. Right, there's a train completed last tour without freight. Yeah, but who cares about that? What we want is the game to not be paused. That's what we want. Right, is there a train? Did I start my new railway line? Clearing to Reading. Right, it was just loading. I mean, we can follow it. Ride along. Ooh, that's fancy. If not, nauseating. Rotate camera. Blow horn. I mean, I've stopped clicking a long time ago, but... And... I feel like Are we sticking our head out the side? No, we're not even on the train. What? This is forwards. This is backwards. Okay, that's very weird. There's like a track on the camera. Oh, we can say hello. Hello. You gonna say hello? He reminds me of the guy from Call of Duty. The No Russian guy. Maybe a little bit. Maybe it's just the dead look in his eyes. I don't know. Anyway. Roll. We're just waiting for this tutorial mission to... for that to arrive. I thought I put it on speed 3. Apparently, maybe when you go onto the train, it goes to speed 1.
Now,
Outstanding.
So that the passengers and mail can change trains at the clearing, you need a hotel at the station. But you haven't researched it yet. Therefore, open the research diagram and unlock the hotel.
Right, so I have to research hotel technology. Technology of hotels. Hotels constructed at rural railway stations provide travellers with lodging and food while waiting for their connecting trains. Maybe in a city, you get automatic hotels.
Very good.
Innovation.
Now select the station at the clearing and expand it with the hotel.
I mean, it's not going to work because I've put my lines as freight only, but still. Routes using the station, why is that highlighted? No, construct extension, and then a hotel. 85,000 to build a hotel in 1841. I'm not going to say that they haven't quite got the prices correct,
Now
but
passengers and mail can
they haven't
change
quite got
at
the prices
station.
correct.
Open the overview Passengers and Mail in Sacramento again, and you'll notice that passengers and mail can now get to Reading via the station with the hotel. Maybe it will take a while for the new route to be registered, then we'll just wait.
I don't think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take infinitely long. Right, let's edit the rail line because you didn't tell me to make it only automatic, even though I saw it coming. Because that train has nothing on it. Nothing. So it's going to load up with lumber. Is it going to load up with lumber? No, it's going to load up empty. Helpful. Did that save? Well, I think so. Hopefully, when it gets here, it's going to load up with people, passengers and mail. That is our plan. That is the tutorial's plan. Yes, passengers and mail. There you go. Oh yeah, and each one of these is 40 mail bags and 40 passengers. Because if you look in the demand, well, these aren't goods.
Hotels, by the way, are only required at rural stations.
Passengers
because in
per week.
cities, passengers and mail can always change trains.
There you go.
Freight can also be transferred from one rail line to another at stations, but there must always be a warehouse for this, because freight takes up a lot of space.
So yeah, as I was saying earlier, hotels only required at rural stations. I mean, saying I was guessing it. Freight can also be transferred from one rail line to another at stations, which I guess makes sense. But there has to be a warehouse. What determines warehouse
Now
space?
let's try it out. For this, unlock the warehouse within the
Of course, it's a
research
tutorial
diagram
that's going to tell me
and
about
expand
it.
the station at the clearing with the warehouse.
So warehouse within the research. You have to research warehouses as well, but it's quite early on the tree. Or large warehouses at train stations that allow big quantities of goods to be stored, allows you to upgrade train stations with warehouses. These allow goods to be exchanged between different rail lines. I am sure I want to spend 100 innovation points. What, and then what does it want me to do? Clearing station. And again, not the hotel. It wants... Oh, we can build the extension of a warehouse. Here, goods can change from one train line to another. Yep, giving the goods more destinations. You can specify up to 6 goods per warehouse. And again, it's
Unlike
quite
the
expensive.
hotel, the warehouse needs to be adjusted to the goods that are to be transferred here. Therefore, select the constructed warehouse and instruct it to take in the goods, meat, beer, and cloth. You don't have to specify a quantity.
So it's not going to do it automatically? I mean, maybe it's chosen some things automatically. Oh no, no goods selected yet. So it wants meat, beer, and cloth. Meat, beer, that's wool, sugar, cloth.
Very good.
Very
Goods
good.
selected by you can now change the rail line at the warehouse. Note, the goods in the warehouse do not belong to you because the warehouse only serves as a stopover for changing trains. All goods already have a fixed destination.
What happens if you, like, delete the warehouse halfway through? Yeah, they don't belong to me, but we still get paid for it being transported on our line, and presumably we'd be paid twice.
As with travelers and mail, freight is only shipped by a business if the destination can be reached by rail. For example, the meat industry in Sacramento can now ship meat to Redding by rail, knowing that the meat will reach its destination via the warehouse. Now, feel free to look at how the goods transfer at the clearing. You may also need to increase the number of trains to transport all the new goods. Then, finish this chapter whenever at your own pace.
Yeah, go on. Let's take a quick look at the train lines that we have. So there's the clearing to Sacramento line, which they have put as the mixed train line. And if we try and edit that line, yeah, there's only one train, but we can make it two. It is double tracked. Clearing Sacramento 2 waiting to be deployed because it was using the gridiron. I don't know. They maybe have set up the their route in a weird way. It's hard to know if you would really need a second track. I say it's hard to know. You would probably use things like the goods display, or if this is a rural location, which this is, you'd look at your warehouse and see, does it have any materials here? And then you'd look at the destination station and see, you know, is this receiving the goods it needs? So, well, currently not receiving any meat. Oh no, one meat received recently. Anyway, we're finished. No, I do not want to do that tutorial, which is bugged. But thank you for asking. Banking and personnel.
Greetings. Now we'll move on to banks and personnel. Loans, stock trading, buying up competitors, personnel management, and sabotage. We'll start right away once you've opened the company dialog. Here you can see some data about your company on the left, and on the right side, the current company value and how it's calculated.
So, what is it saying? We have 4 rail lines, 6 trains, 3 of which are express trains. Interesting. I don't think wagons is too important. Ratio of traffic jams to journey time. Anyway, and number of businesses and stuff. And are these things that we would have researched? Maybe. In terms of value, the cash on hand, it says 862,000, but the actual money there is 500,000. Not quite sure how that works out. But there's also value to the track and bridges, trains, and buildings that you own. Great, thank you.
The results of the last 4 quarters are displayed here. The last quarter is on the left.
Cool, thank you.
Here you can see which companies are currently competing in the transportation business and how much these companies are worth.
It's going through the menus,
including
but
yours, is a public stock company that received its initial funds from shareholders.
I assume it's
Therefore,
been clicking these
buy
buttons.
your competitors' shares as well.
So yeah, all public companies. If you want to buy shares, oh no, shares hold 0%. So I hold 0% of my company. It's not really my company then, is it? But I could also, you know, that other company is cheaper, so you buy those shares.
Once you have acquired all the shares of a competitor, you can merge with them and the competitor disappears. But be careful. If a competitor gains value faster than you, they will also try to buy up the shares of your company and kick you out of the race. Buy some competitors' shares now.
But you can't buy your own shares? That seems, you know, weird. So their whole company is worth... Let me just click X. If I click on this, it says the company value is 1.4 million. So why, if I want to buy all of it? I suppose buying it pushes up the price of it. Is 1.9 and 50% is... So it's cheaper to buy it in chunks, maybe? Anyway, what are we doing? What does it want us to do? Just buy some... Let's just buy 10%.
There is quite a bit more information about mergers, but you can take a look at that at your leisure by opening the tips and tricks section.
At my leisure,
Here you
in
will
the
find
tips and
more
tricks section.
information about each topic. If you open the tips from a dialogue, you jump directly to the right place.
Cool. Fine, so they're all public companies, which it says shares can be traded in increments of 1% and cost 1% of the company value each. Maybe something is bugged in the tutorial because that was not 1%. A company cannot buy its own shares, but it can buy the shares of a competitor. Again, that's not really how businesses work, but it's fine. If you hold 100% of the shares in another company, you take over, and basically that kicks them out of the game. It says you merge with the losing company to dissolve it. In doing so, you can liquidate the company entirely or dissolve the train lines, or transfer everything to your company. So if you think they've built it rubbishly, then you can just dismantle it. But then you've paid all that money for it. I mean, I suppose it's better to win. Anyway, what's next?
Here you can buy shares of different markets and issue company bonds to take out a loan. The higher your company value, the higher the bond's value. Now buy some stock and issue a bond.
Buy some stock. Which one would we go for? Well, we know that... What is this? Raw materials? Like livestock and grain? So what? Buy 200. And... Sure, issue bonds. I mean, I didn't really need to, did I? The bond will be automatically repaid after 49 weeks if you have enough cash. Otherwise, the term is extended by 1 year. Yeah, but the interest rate is good.
In the last section, you can see all kinds of statistics and company developments. Look around a bit, then close the dialogue to continue.
So the company value was nothing 12 months ago. And in this tutorial alone, we've already boosted it. Wow, how cool are we? Train stations. I'm sure this would be much more interesting if we were actually playing the game and it wasn't like 1 minute into a tutorial.
Now
But
let's
continue.
take a look at the personnel. Open the corresponding dialogue. In this dialogue, you can change basic settings for the 4 different personnel areas of your company. The first area is for the engineer.
Alright, so at the top you can change the type. Fine. And
Your trains are on the move 24 hours a day. With a daily work time of 8 hours, each train needs 3 engineers. If you increase the work time, for example, you will need fewer engineers.
alright, so we can
Quality of the
overwork
work
them.
will decrease.
Quality of the work. Does it say? No, it doesn't let me do it here. It doesn't let me change any of these. I suppose as well, if you're not paying enough on the wages, maybe the filled positions will... You're likely to lose them because they'll be working for other train companies. Cash out bonus. And also there's a general efficiency based on what they're training and the wages that you give them. So more efficient than normal. This reduces the maintenance requirements of your locomotives. So maybe if you don't care about maintenance too much, but you can see maybe that if you have high maintenance requirements on your locomotives, that maybe just a little extra cost in your engineers would reduce it.
How many of the available positions can actually be filled depends on how much you invest in your employees.
Yes.
How well each individual works and how many positions are filled ultimately determines the efficiency of an area. Efficient engineers, for example, reduce the maintenance requirements of your locomotives.
So it's saying the quality is 111%, which is the same as this, but then why is it giving a big efficiency of 105? Or maybe these kind of add up to 105.9%. I don't know. Anyway, next.
Now take a look at the 3 other personnel areas. They all work similarly, but each has different effects. One special feature is your security personnel. Not only do they affect mail and freight revenues, but they can also prevent sabotage when effectively used.
Cool. So there's the stoker, who's on the train handling the... Well, is he shoveling in the coal? What do they do? No, currently no effects, but what would their effect be is what I was looking at. Train personnel, so that's people on the train. Friendlier to guests, yes, if they're good. This increases popularity and thus ticket prices. Right. Okay, it does say here. I'm just blind. Affects the maximum speed of your locomotives. Just the stoker. Security. Ensure the safe transportation of freight and rail.
As always, you can find more information about personnel in the Tips and Tricks dialogue. But now, let's turn to the last area, the saboteurs. You can invest money into searching for saboteurs to damage your competitor's business. The more money you invest, the faster you'll find more experienced saboteurs.
So when it says finding them, the fastest search will go. So it's expected to take 40 days to search, and we're going to find a 1 quality. But if we double the money, more than double, we'll get a higher quality, and 5-star is the top. Does it want us to spend it? Go on then, let's get a top one. Currently not available. Well, thank you.
Start the search for a saboteur now. Go ahead and invest the highest amount.
I was just 2 ahead of it.
You have to wait for a while now, but I'll take the liberty to speed up the search. As soon as you
Very
have
kind
found
of you.
a saboteur, you can use them. Now close the dialogue and select something that belongs to your competitor north of Reading. For example, a station. Then order the sabotage.
All I see with you are breakdowns. It's going to be an uneven battle.
Okay, so this is he's ready. How, like, would we be able to use him once or multiple times? Eugene. Okay. So what does it say we have to do? Station, then order sabotage. And how would we do that? Select something that belongs to your competitor. Select the station. Then order the sabotage. Select city. Okay, so I was clicking the button of the station, but you have to click the station itself. Would you like to task your saboteur with sabotaging General Donovan's train station? This will succeed with a probability of 90%. If successful, the station will not be able to load wagons for 20 days. Sure. I mean, it seems a bit mean. I'd rather just have a positive railway empire, but if this is the way the game is, even if it's a tutorial, and it was successful. I'm sure there's some dice rolling going on here.
That's how it's done. Whether you want to sabotage your competitors or not, of course, is your decision.
It is my
It's
decision.
not important, but you should expect that your competitors will not be squeamish with you.
Yeah.
So make sure you have enough security personnel. That also brings this lesson to an end. One more thing. As long as your business is small, you don't necessarily need to worry about your staff. At some point, however, you'll have 50 or more employees in one area, and you'll incur significant costs. By then, you should optimize your staff.
But you're not going to tell me anything about staff optimization. And I still do not want to do the track construction tutorial because it is broken. Right, is that it? I mean, it feels so annoying that I've completed all of them, except for that one, which is too bug for me to want to care about. There's no other tutorials then, so we can just play a new game. We can play the campaign.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, and if you think you would enjoy more, then please subscribe, or even join me live on Twitch. Whilst it's cliche, all of these will help the channel. On screen is something carefully curated, or something the YouTube algorithm suggests, or maybe even both. In any case, have a great day.